Hello, Shalom. Welcome to another day of the Daily Bread. We're on day 15. We'll be in Genesis 16 and 17, Joshua 19 and 20, Psalms 18:19, Matthew 15, and Proverbs 15. Once again, I'll be reading from the scriptures. I'll be it's on Genesis 16 is on page 14. Okay. And Sarah, Abram's wife, had bore him no child, and she had a Mizraite female servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said to Abraham, "See, Yahweh has kept me from bearing children. Please go into my female servant. It might be that I am built up by her." And Abraham listened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abraham's, took Hagar, the female servant, to Mizraim, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my female servant into your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Let Yahweh judge between you and me." And Abram said to Sarah, "See, your female servant is in your hand. Do to her what is good in your eyes." And Sarah treated her harshly, and she fled from her presence. And the messenger, that's capitalized, of Yahweh found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarah's female servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" And she said, "I am fleeing from the presence of Sarah, my mistress." And the messenger of Sarah said to her, "Return to your mistress, and humble yourself under her hand." And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, "I am going to increase your seed greatly, too numerous to be counted." And the messenger of Yahweh said to her, "See, you are conceiving and bearing a son, and you shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahweh has heard your affliction. And he is to be a wild man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and dwell over against all his brothers." And she called the name of Yahweh who spoke to her, "You are the El who sees?" For she said, "Even here, when I have seen him who sees me." That is why the well was called Balaroi. It is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. And Abram was 68 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. And it came to be when Abram was 99 years old, and Yahweh appeared to Abram and said to him, "I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. And I give you my covenant between me and you, and I shall greatly increase you." And Abraham fell on his face, and Elohim spoke with him, saying, "As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations." Verse 17. And no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations, and I shall make you exceedingly fruitful, and make nations of you, and sovereigns shall come from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim to you and your seed after you. And I shall give to you and your seed after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession, and I shall be their Elohim. And Elohim said to Abraham, As for you, guard my covenant, you and your seed after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you guard between me and you and your seed after you. Every male among you is to be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 days when circumcised by you. Every male in your generations, he is born in your house or bought with silver from a foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your silver has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh, an everlasting covenant. And an uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, his life shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Elohim said to Abraham, As far as Sarah your wife, do not call her Sarai, for Sarah is her name. And I shall bless her, and also give you a son by her. And I shall bless her, and she shall become nations. Sovereigns of people are to be from her. And Abraham fell on his face and laughed. And in his heart is a child born to a man who was 100 years old? Or a Sarah who was 90 years old to bear a child? And Abraham said to Elohim, Oh, let Ishmael live before you. And Elohim said, No, Sarah your wife is truly bearing a son to you, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. See, I shall bless him, and I shall make him fruitful and greatly increase him. He is to bring forth 12 princes, and I shall make him a great nation. But my covenant I establish with Isaac, whom Sarah is to bear to you at this appointed time next year. And when he had ended speaking with him, Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all those born in his house, and all those he bought with silver, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that same day as Elohim had told him. And Abraham was 99 years old when he circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised the same day. All the men of his house, born in the house or bought with silver from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. Okay, we'll be in Joshua. We're reading Joshua 19 and 20. It's on 244 for chapter 19. And the second lot came out for the tribe of the children of Shaman and their clans, and their inheritance was within the inheritance of the tribe of Judah, and they had in their inheritance Beersheba, Sheba, Mohilah, and Hashor, Shelah, and Bala, and Estim, and Etolib, and Bethel, Bethil, Horam, Sigel, Beth Marbuth, Hasharsu, Beth Harosh, and Sharon, 13 cities and their villages. Ain, Rimmon, Esther, and Hashan, 4 cities and their villages. And all the villages that were around these cities, as far as Bethel, Bur, Raman. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Shimon for their clans. The inheritance of the children of Shimon was out of the portion of the children of Judah. For the portion of the children of Judah was too much for them. So the children of Shimon had their inheritance within their inheritance. And the 13th lot came up from the children of Zebulun. And the third lot, came from the children of Zebulun and their clans. And the border of their inheritance was as far as Sarid. And their border went down toward the sea and Marlah, and reached all the way to Dabalushi, and reached to the wadi in the face of Yohen, and turned back from Sarid eastward toward the sunrise into the border of Kishloth, Debor, and went out from Debarath, and went up to Yavin. And from there it was passed over eastward to the east of Gath Herpa, toward Eth Kisan, and went out to Rimmon, which borders one Nahad. And the border went out on it on the north side of Hamath, and it ended in the valley of Yithel, and Yathu, and Nathal, and Shimon, and Yavho, and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the children of Zebulun for their clans. These cities with their villages. The 4th lot came from out of Yishkar, and the children of Yishkar for their clans. And the border was toward Yezreel, and Kezluth, Shanun, and Hapharim, and Shinom, and Anaruth, and Rabbith, and Kunesh, Kenyan, Ebetz, Rimmon, En-Gaman, and Eb-Gahan, and Beth Pasetz, and the border reached to Tabor, and Shemeth, and Beth Shemim, and their border ended at the Jordan, 16 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Yishkar, of their clans, and the city and their villages. And the 5th lot came out of the tribe of the children of Asher for their clans. And the border was Helgath, and Hali, and Bethel, and Ashri, and Amalek, and Amad, and Mishkel, and reached to Mount Carmel westward, and to Brook Shihor Lamath, and toward the sunrise of Beth Dagon, and reached Zebulun, and to the valley of Yithveth El, then northward beyond Beth Mega to Nahel, and went out to Kabul, which was on the left, and Hebron, and Rehoboth, and Hammon, and Kion, as far as the great Sidon. And the border turned to Ramon, and a strong city Sor, and the border turned to Hosah, and ended at the sea, from the coast of Azib. And Uman, and Ephes, and Rohab were included, 22 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Asher for their clans, these cities with their clans. The 6th lot came out to the children of Naphtali, for the children of Naphtali for their clans, and their border from Hephleb, and from the territory of Samai, and Almai Noeth, and Yaphel, as far as Lampkin, and it ended at the Jordan. And the border turned westward to Azar Tabor, and went all the way out from there to Hukel, and reached Zebulun on the south side of, and Asher on the west side, and ended at Judah by the Jordan toward the sunrise. And the cities of defense were Siddim, Sihir, Hamath, Rek, and Kinnard, and Amad, and Rehmad, and Hatzor, and Kadesh, and Eri, and Endosath, and Yaran, and Megad, Horim, Beth Anna, Beth Shemesh, 19 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Naphtali, for their clans, cities with their villages. The seventh lot came out from the tribe of the children of Dan, for their clans, and the border of their inheritance was Sohor, Esther, El Shohim, and El Shabah, Ayid, and El Taman Harim, and El Reth, Gibahan, and and Judah, and Behahi, and Gahath Ramon, and May Yalhan Rakun, with the border of Yaphum. And the border of the children of Dan went out from them. And the children of Dan went up to fight against Leshim, and captured it. And they struck it with the edge of the sword, and possessed it, and dwelt in it, and called it Leshim. Dan, after the name of Dan their father. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Dan for their clans, these cities with their villages. And when they had ended dividing the land as an inheritance according to their borders, of the children of Israel gave an inheritance to Joshua, son of Nun, in their midst. According to the mouth of Yahweh, they gave him the city which he asked for. Tanath Suri, in the mountains of Ephraim. And he built the city and dwelt in it, and there was an inheritance. These were the inheritances which Elzar the priest and Joshua son of Nun and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel divided as an inheritance by lot in Shiloh before Yahweh at the door of the tent of appointment. And they ended the dividing the country. 20. And Yahweh spoke to Joshua, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Appoint for yourselves cities of refuge, which I spoke to you through Moshe. For the manslayer who strikes any being mistakenly, unknowingly, to flee there, that they shall take your refuge from the Redeemer of blood. And he shall flee to one of those cities, and stand at the entrance of the gate of the city, and declare his case in the hearing of the elders of that city. And they shall take him into the city as one of them, and give him a place, and he shall dwell among them. And when the Redeemer of blood pursues him, they do not give the manslayer into his hand, because he struck his neighbor unknowingly, and did not hate him beforehand. And he shall dwell in that city until he stands before the congregation for right ruling, and until the death of one of who is the high priest in those days. Then let the manslayer return and come to his own city, and his own house, to the city which he fled. So they set apart Kadesh and Galilee in the mountains of Naphtali, and Shechem in the mountains of Ephraim, and Kiraraba, that is in Hebron, in the mountains of Judah, and beyond the Jordan, by Jericho eastward, they appointed Bester in the wilderness on the plain from the tribe of Reuben, and Ramon and Gilead from the tribe of Gad, and Golad and Bashan from the tribe of Menish. These were the cities appointed for all the children of Israel, and for the sojourner who sojourned in their midst, for anyone striking any being unknowingly to flee there, and not die by the hand of the Redeemer of blood until he stood before the congregation. Okay, Psalms 19 and 20 on page 656. The heavens are proclaiming the esteem of El, and the expanse is declaring the work of his hand. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, there is no words, their voice is not heard. Their line has gone out through all the earth, their words to the end of the world. In them he set up a tent for the sun, and in it, like a bridegroom coming out of his room, it rejoices like a strong man to run the path. Its rising is from one end of the heavens, and its circuit to the other end. And naught is hidden from its heat. The Torah of Yahweh is perfect, bringing it back to being. The witness of Yahweh is trustworthy, making wise the simple. The orders of Yahweh are straight, rejoicing the heart. The command of Yahweh is clear, enlightening my eyes. The fear of Yahweh is clean, standing forever. The right rulings of Yahweh are true. They are righteous altogether, more desirable than gold, more than fine gold, and sweeter than honey and the honeycomb. Also your servant is warned by them. In guarding them there is great reward. Who discerns mistakes, declares me innocent from those that are secret. Also has kept your servant back from the presumptuous ones. Do not let them rule over me. Then shall I be perfect and innocent of great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be pleasing before you, O Yahweh, my rock and my redeemer. 120, Psalms 20. Yahweh does answer you in the day of distress. The name of the Elohim of Jacob does set you on high. He does send you help from set apart place, and does uphold you from Zion. He does remember all your offerings, and does accept your sending offering. Salah. He does give you according to your heart, and fills all your plans. We sing of your deliverance. In the name of our Elohim, we set up a banner. Yahweh does fill your requests. Now I know that Yahweh shall save his anointed. He answers him from his set apart heavens, with the saving might of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we remember the name of Yahweh our Elohim. They have bowed down and fallen, but we have risen and are established. Save Yahweh, let the sovereign answer us in the day we call. It's one of my favorite psalms. Proverbs 15. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. The, the tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. The eyes of Yahweh are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A healing tongue is like a tree of life, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. The household of the righteous is a great treasure, but in the income of the wrong is trouble. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The slaughtering of the wrong ones is an abomination to Yahweh, but the prayer of the straight is his delight. The way of the wrong one is an abomination to Yahweh, but he who loves him who pursues righteousness. Discipline is grievous to him who forsakes the way. He who hates reproof dies. Sheol and destruction are before Yahweh. How much more the hearts of the sons of men? A scoffer does not love his reprover, nor does he go to the wise. A glad heart makes good a face, but by the sorrow of heart the spirit is stricken. The heart of understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but gladness of heart is a continual feast. Better is a little with the fear of Yahweh than great treasure with trouble. Better is a meal of vegetables where love is than a fatted calf with hatred. A man of wrath stirs up strife, but he who is patient appeases strife. The way of the lazy one is like a hedge of thorns, but the way of the straight is a great highway. A wise son makes a father glad, but a foolish man despises his mother. Folly is joy to one lacking heart, but a man of understanding walks straight. Without counsel, plans go wrong, but with great counselors they are established. A man has joy by the answer of his mouth, and how good is a word spoken in its season. The path of life is upward for the wise, to turn away from Sheol below. Yahweh tears down the house of the proud, and he sets up the boundary of the widow. Evil thoughts are an abomination to Yahweh, but pleasant words are clean. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes lives. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong pours out evil. Yahweh is far from the wrong ones, but he who hears the prayer of the righteous, the light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. An ear that hears the reproof of life does dwell among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The fear of Yahweh is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. Finishing up in Matthew 15. Page 936. And there came to Yeshua scribes and Pharisees from Jerusalem, saying, "Why do your taught ones transgress the tradition of the elders? For they do not wash their hands when they eat bread." But he answering said to them, "Why do you also transgress the command of Elohim before your tradition? For Elohim has commanded, saying, respect your father and your mother." Deuteronomy 5:16 and Exodus 20:12. He who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. Exodus 21:17, Leviticus 20, verse 9. But you say, whoever says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me has been dedicated. It is certainly released from respecting his father or mother. So you have nullified the command of Elohim by your tradition. Hypocrites, Joshua rightly prophesied about you, saying, the people draw near to me with their mouth and respect me with their lips, but the heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching as teachings the commands of men. Isaiah 29:13. And calling the crowd near, he said to them, hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth defiles a man. Then his taught ones came and said to him, do you know that the Pharisees stumble when they hear this word? But he answering said, every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be uprooted. Leave them alone. They are blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind leads the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. And Peter, answering, said to him, Explain this parable to us. And Yeshua said, Are you also still without understanding? Do you not understand that whatever enters into the mouth goes into the stomach and cast into the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth comes from the heart, and the defile one, and these defile the man. For out of your heart comes forth wickedness, reasonings, murders, adulteries, whorings, thefts, false witnesses, slanders. These defile the man, but to eat with unwashed hands does not defile the man. And Yeshua went out from there and withdrew to the parts of Sor and Sidon. And see, a woman, a Canaan of Canaan, came from the borders and cried out to him, saying, Have compassion on me, O Master, son of David. My daughter is badly demon-possessed. But he did not answer her a word. And his taught ones came and asked him, saying, Send her away, because she cries after us. And he answering said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But she came and was bowing to him, saying, Master, help me. And he answering said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. But she said, Yes, master, for even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. And Yeshua answering said to her, O woman, your belief is great. Let it be to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that hour. And moving from there, Yeshua came toward the Sea of Galilee, and going up on the mountain, he was sitting there. And large crowds came to him, having with them those who were lame, blind, dumb, crippled, and many others. And they laid down at the feet of Yeshua, and he healed them. And so that the crowd marveled when they saw the dumb speaking, the crippled walk, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the Elohim of Israel. And Yeshua, having called his taught ones near, said, I have compassion on the ones near. I have compassion on the crowd, because they have now continued with me 3 days, and do not have whatever to eat. I do not wish to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And his taught one said to him, Where are we to get enough bread in the desert to satisfy such a large crowd? And Yeshua said to him, How many loaves do you have? And they said, 7 loaves and 7 and a little fish. And he commanded the crowd to sit down on the ground. And taking the 7 loaves and the fish, and giving thanks, he broke them, and gave them to his taught ones, and the taught ones to the crowd. And all ate and were satisfied. And they picked up what was left over of the broken, 7 large baskets filled. And those who ate were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And dismissing the crowd, he went into the boat and came to the borders of Magdala. Thank you. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.